Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the September 12th Town Hall meeting. If we could please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please take notice of the exits behind you, and there is one exit behind us to our right. Please turn off all electronic devices. Kathy, can we have a roll call?
Yes. Councilman Cypress?
Here.
Councilman Larka?
Here.
Councilwoman Lewis? Here. Councilman Mazzata?
Here.
Supervisor Durante?
Here. Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to close the executive session with no action taken.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we can get right into our work session. Tonight we have a discussion with VRI. They are our new water company. Well, not new, it's been 8 months, and they're just going to kind of run us through some of the things they've done. We are very happy with how these guys are handling our districts. They're doing some good stuff. Brewster Heights water's been clean since January. We appreciate that. So if Tyler and Jim could come on up. And just so you know, everyone, don't get nervous. Jim is a little bit famous. He was on the front of Motor Trend Car magazine with his car. So we have a little bit of a celebrity with us.
Yeah.
Just tell us who you are, Jim.
I'm Tyler. I'm the operations director for VRI, and this is Jim Kane. He's the regional manager for the Southeast facilities.
I guess somebody on me.
Just trying to help you out here.
We know who you are.
You're famous, remember? So I just wanted to, do you have a copy of it?
Yep.
Okay. We developed this report. This one's a little extensive because it kind of goes all the way back from when we started in May to present day. So going forward, we'll be sending a monthly report, and it'll be a little bit shorter than this, and just with the previous months, any changes or updates, repairs, that sort of thing. I could walk through this a little bit. If go over the big ticket items, and then if you have any questions or anything, just feel on here.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to answer anything.
Yeah, you could touch on stuff.
I mean, mainly, so at all the facilities, we just did a lot of cleaning. Brewster Heights wastewater plant and water plant, I think we filled 2 30-yard dumpsters now with just old stuff that just garbage essentially that needed to be taken out. So just did a lot of cleaning there. Did a lot of painting. We painted both the laboratory and offices in there. We're going to be getting a floor stripper and stripping the floor in there. So just trying to make it cosmetically a little bit better.
Decent.
Right. Just recently, we had the continuous microfiltration units at the Brewster Heights wastewater plant were replaced by DuPont, which is the manufacturer. That's funded by New York City DEP, so that's completed. All went well with that. We had some SCADA, which is like a communication of the equipment at the plant, some issues there. We had Owens Electric come out and address that. He's done a lot of work there before, so he's very familiar with the system. All of that went well. I mean, we replaced some process floats. The companies that you guys have service contracts with, they've come out and serviced the equipment, so all's good on that front. Flip over here. Yes, we replaced all the lighting in the CMF building. CMF stands for Continuous Microfiltration. That's the new building at Brewster Heights wastewater plant, or I say new, the newer building that DEP had put in. It was very dimly lit in there. It was unsafe working conditions, so there are all new LED lights in there, which are nice and bright, and that building looks a lot better now.
Yes.
Brewster Heights water treatment plant. You can see our average flows. They're a little bit higher in the summer months, July and August, which isn't untypical, with just more usage in the summer. And then we did flush Brewster Heights water and Eagles Ridge that's on here somewhere. I forget when exactly it was, but that was all flushed. We've done a couple service line leak repairs. We had Slack Chemical out and do jar testing for chemicals to make sure we're dosing the correct amount of chemical with the correct chemical itself. Service the generator, yeah, same thing. We pressure washed the building, just a lot of cleaning. Plant's in a lot better condition now. We've rebuilt, almost completely rebuilt 2 of the filters. There's 3 filters in the water plant. Filters number 1 and 2. Filter number 1 had a broken component inside the filter and it was losing media, you know, sand. And filter number 2, similar, there was almost no media. If there's supposed to be 3 feet of media in there, you know, silica, sand to filter the water, there was like maybe a foot. So that needed to be addressed immediately. And with the approval and the help of Water Services Inc., which is Tim Cornelison, he's worked on these filters for 30 plus years. So he came out and we were able to rebuild filters number 1 and 2. We'd like to look at rebuilding filter number 3 sometime in the near future. I know it was somewhat rebuilt not too long ago, but we've seen some evidence of like there's like wood chips that are coming up in the filter that it just seems like something's not right with, I don't know, we don't know what was truly installed underneath. So that's something that we should look to do in the near future. And we know we'll have 3 essentially brand new filters that'll be, you know, in good working condition. We also replaced the lighting in that building, new LED lights. And yeah, we've done some miscellaneous work on the filters as well, as far as like replaced a couple of the blowers, which is just process equipment for what they need to backwash and operate properly.
I think we had 2 service line repairs we did up there too, on Allen Road and Nancy Road. Nancy was the first day that we got here, that spun the leak.
Yes.
On to the next page, so the Blackberry wastewater plant, go through that quickly here. So there was, you may notice in some of the operation reports, and then on this, the flows, the daily average flow was a lot lower. It was showing, reading like low 20,000 gallons per day. And that plant, we know from past history and just.
And after we do the water plant, and we're putting out 50,000 gallons of water, so we should be getting pretty close to that back to the sewer plant. And it's like half of that.
So we checked, you know, your first main concern is like sewer backup somewhere. It wasn't that. Pump station was adequate. So we found there was actually a problem with the flow meter that registers the flow leaving the plant. So we kind of had to fabricate a plate to make sure that it reads properly, and then had Flowtech, which is the company, comes out and actually that's what they do, and they calibrated the meter and it's working. So now we're actually getting accurate readings off of that. And that has to be calibrated annually, so he did that, and he'll be out, you know, every year to calibrate, put their sticker on there, and that's what DEP, DEC, all of them like to see. RBC number 2, that's one of the biological units. That was down since we took over. As of May, I think we were told it went down like the week before. That's still down. Don Elzer of Darlington Equipment, he specializes in RBC work. He was out there yesterday actually he removed, I think, the motor, and he's going to rebuild that, replace it, so hopefully we'll be back online there. We have 2 other ones on site that we've been using, the RBCs, so no issues with meeting permit limits or anything like that. The only other big thing really there is we just did the same thing as Brewster Heights. We replaced all the microfiltration modules, again funded by DEP. Those were not running well. We had to do manual cleans on them like twice a week just to keep them going. So
They
with the
haven't
new,
been changed in a while, right?
yeah, I think they typically say they're about a 10-year life expectancy, and from trying to look back on records, I think they were stretched closer to like 15, 16 years, so they were well overdue. So as of the past couple of days, they've been running great, and it'll take a lot less operation manpower and cost to kind of keep them going and maintained.
And we called the DEP too to make sure that was going to be funded through the DEP program, because it was like $40,000 worth of modules that they put in there, so it's all covered through the DEP program.
Mm-hmm. Then the other water districts, if you just see nothing to report, it just essentially means everything's status quo. It's, everything's going good at those districts, nothing to really note. Blackberry Water District, we did a service line repair on Scott Road at the end of June. Hillcrest Water District, we've done a service line repair and a water main break repair. Fox Hill has been all good there. Star Ridge, we had to replace the soft starters on both the booster pumps, or like pressure pumps. The soft starters just weren't, wasn't calling the pumps to run properly. We figured out that was the issue. Looked at whether it was a pump or motor or whatever, and that wound up being the culprit. So had those replaced and shouldn't have any pressure issues at Star Ridge. Springhouse Water Plant, had to replace one of the booster pumps that failed. We had a spare pump on site, so we were able to put that one into service with no interruption, water service, and the pump that was faulty, that wasn't working, it actually got sent out to a company that's going to rebuild it. So we'll get that one back, and we'll keep that on site as the new spare. Mountain Brook Water District, we installed a new fire hydrant at the end of the road of Mountain Brook Road there for flushing purposes. So at the dead end there, I think it's either a 6 or an 8-inch water main that runs to the end of the road. There was no hydrant there, and there was a 2-inch line that ran 300 feet into the woods with a little 2-inch hydrant. So we could flush from that, but it really wasn't, we feel it wasn't getting a good, true flush. You're trying to flush a 6 or 8-inch main through a 2-inch line in the hydrant. So that was kind of the thought. We put a 6-inch hydrant at the end of the cul-de-sac there and flush that, and then we'll continue to use that going forward. Now we hope that, and we do feel strongly that that will be able to flush that out and keep any sediment or dirty water complaints down. Peaceable Hill as well has been quiet. And then on the last page, this is a chart that shows the raw water concentration of manganese, which is coming from the reservoir, versus the final or treated water leaving the plant.
This is Brewster Heights Water.
Yes, for the Brewster Heights Water District. So you can see, I feel like we've got, oh, I shouldn't say anything. Knock on wood, it's been pretty good.
Chart, so is it?
Oh, you don't have the chart?
Yeah, it wasn't on the
But
attachment.
is this what is it?
Here.
We don't have to.
It's on the last page.
Yeah, we didn't have it on the attachment.
Thank you.
So what is this, Sean?
So it's showing what,
The raw water manganese coming in and what's going out after the treatment.
so iron and manganese, those are the two main culprits for, potential for dirty water coming off the reservoir. That's largely in part what we need to remove, as far as other impurities with the filters at the treatment plant. So keeping the iron and manganese concentrations under control is we have to do that. So that just kind of shows, obviously it's a lot higher coming off the reservoir versus what's leaving the plant, but it also shows there is some fluctuations, some dips and increases where our operator that we have at the plant all day long, he's able to make those, process adjustments to try and catch a change. I mean, I was speaking with him yesterday, and the manganese level at 8 in the morning could be nice and low. All the chemicals are set properly, and then by noon he could run that test again, and it's sky high. And that's where it's good to be able to catch those and make the necessary process or chemical adjustments. So,
And that's what wasn't happening in the past. So I just can't tell you how appreciative we are that we're not getting calls about dirty water, and that those people are getting clean water. So I think this proves that it would be so interesting to see what this looked like the last few years. But I really appreciate it. Thank you.
yeah, thank you.
And you can kind of see how sporadic the reservoir is as far as up and down, so it's a constant battle. This is just a set number and you let it go, which some people like to do, but you can't do it that way because it's so sporadic coming in.
It's good to know that it's something that you guys can control. I know it's a lot of work, but it was always communicated to us that there'll always be dirty water up there, and this proves that there won't be. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Would you attribute that, is that the combination of both eyes on it, but also the improvements you've made to the filters and those other things? Is it a combination, or would you say it's more one or the other?
Yeah, I believe it's a combination of things. One being our operator there, he worked at the Mount Kisco water treatment plant, which that plant treats around 9 million gallons a day, and it's the same type of filters, just it's a lot bigger of a facility. So he's done this for 25 plus years, so he's very good at that and knows kind of what to look for. You know, that on top of, you know, the chemicals that we're adding at the proper rate, and then also rebuilding of the filters. So yeah, I do think it's a combination of all those things, but you know, mainly it's just kind of watching it, and you almost have to babysit it, you know what I mean, and until everything's kind of flow paced. But what we're doing is just trying to get the plant, you know, with polymer being added and the correct dose of potassium permanganate during the season, trying to get the plant to where, like, really it was just how it was designed to run. You know, how it was designed from engineers from the beginning is where we're trying to get it and keep it, and should be smooth sailing, hopefully.
Thank you.
It's been,
Well done.
I have a couple of questions. The output for the Brewster Heights district, that's also feeding Eagles Ridge? Right?
Correct.
So that's, okay. And I just want to publicly announce that today, VRI went around with Bruce Bridges, our new special districts MS4 coordinator, to all the plants. You know, they felt Bruce was understanding what they were showing them, and you know, I think we're going to be okay. We got a good group taking care of the district and a good guy watching. So, thanks for coming down tonight, guys.
No problem. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Okay, so for our second discussion, we're going to talk about regulations governing tractor-trailer and semi-trailer combinations driving around in our town. So we're going to have Eric talk to us about that.
Yeah, so thank you. So we all know that there's been significant traffic increase with the 684 interchange, and apps like Waze rerouting vehicles through town, and there's not much we could do about the volume of cars. However, we may be able to do something about the tractor trailers and semi-trucks that go down our road. So Rich Hargrave, a resident, reached out to us. He had two 53-foot trucks crash into his front yard in the past few months, and more going back further. I did some research and found that 53-foot trucks are only permitted to travel on state-designated and qualifying roads. So in Southeast, the only roads that are qualified are 684, 84, Route 22, and a portion of 312 heading towards Route 6. So they can't go towards the school or towards 312. So any 53-foot truck on any other road in Southeast is in violation of the regulations unless they're making a local delivery. I spoke to someone at the DOT who recommended that the town board officially exclude certain roads from truck traffic or establish a designated truck route, even though that it's already illegal for them to be on these roads. I also spoke to Sheriff McConville this morning, who's aware of the issue and committed to ticketing trucks on our back roads. He also supported the idea of additional signage and passing a resolution, or whatever the process is, to ban this type of traffic under Section 1660 of the New York State Traffic Law. So once, and if we could pass that, he said that he'll bring it to the attention of the Traffic Safety Board. So I summarized sections, you can pass that down, from the code for us to look at. And so the purpose of this was just to see if you guys agree, and maybe work with Will and Mike Burdick and Nick to see what the next step would be.
When it says truck system, establish a system, is that like with Waze and Google, or is that something we do on our own?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
I think what the intention of this is to say we should develop a truck route to go through town as
okay.
a alternative.
Yep. Okay, yep.
My interpretation of that is to designate roads that currently aren't allowable to allow trucks. I wouldn't be in favor of that unless it was a really
Yeah, for
well-built
sure.
road. But maybe the truck route is you go 84 to 684 and that's it.
And that's the
Um,
truck.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, it's belt and suspenders. It's already illegal. But according to the DOT and talking with Sheriff McConville, this, you know, it doesn't hurt to give them another tool. Thank you.
And
And
I,
it's they also, commercial drivers shouldn't be using Google Maps and Waze. They should be using a commercial GPS, which wouldn't send them down those roads. So,
Yeah.
you know, maybe, just, you know, if they're following the law by using the right GPS, maybe doing this will fix it in their GPS as well.
Yeah. To that point, we can put up, and I'll talk to Mike Burdick about this, but we could put up signs, you know, the 4-ton weight limit signs, but I didn't summarize it. Well, I had this summarized for me using technology, but you can prohibit turns for certain types of vehicles. So, section 13, the turning of vehicles at intersections, you can, and I don't know what the signs would be, but you could say no trucks or no tractor trailers can turn right onto Milltown or Alvey or whatever it is. So anyway, if you guys are in favor, I'll do some more work on this with Will, Nick, Mike, anybody else that wants to
for sure.
help. And
Yes.
that's it.
No, thanks for your work on this.
100%, yeah.
All right, thanks.
And we'll get the state police involved too, to
Yeah.
have them.
That's a good point.
Excellent, thank you, Eric, that's
Thanks, Eric.
fantastic. Yes, my office is getting a lot of calls on tractor trailers and volume, so for us to address that, that's fantastic. All right, so for our next discussion, we have a special permit, excuse me, for Lakeview Plaza with Starbucks. It's basically 1525 Route 22. I'm not sure if someone's here to come talk to us a little bit about it. Yeah, come on up, guys. Just tell us who you are. Smiling faces, so that's a good start.
Would you like us to bring a plan up or just?
That's not necessary. Does anyone need to see?
I would like to see it.
Yeah, and for the video, it may be helpful.
Yeah.
if you can- Oh,
I was trying to picture.
what? Oh, do we have a? We normally don't do that.
Pretty much like right here.
Oh, okay. But since they're here.
The car show.
Yeah, thank you.
The car show.
Thanks, Alex. So while you guys are stepping to the plate, this is a proposed Starbucks in between Burger King and I think it's KeyBank now in the Route 22 Plaza where Acme is. They've talked to the planning board already?
Correct.
Yep. All right.
I'm sorry, the camera can't capture it, I need to move it up a little bit.
Oh, that's fine.
That's all right? Yeah, it just
The
doesn't
plans
get
are on the town site though, right?
Can we move this? We do.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Supervisor, members of the town board. My name is Rob Aiello. I'm with the firm of JMC. We're the engineers for the project. Here with me tonight is Mr. Andrew Albrecht of Regency Shopping Centers and Mr. Chris Raffaelli of Studio Architecture, the architect for the project. So yes, the proposal is for a new Starbucks restaurant in the Lakeview Shopping Center. So the location of the proposed Starbucks is, as you had mentioned before, between Burger King and KeyBank along Route 22. So this is Route 22 on the bottom. This is the Acme, and the main buildings, and the driveway is here, and here are the two current driveways serving the overall shopping center. So the proposal is for a new Starbucks with a drive-through in this portion of the center. We had been before the planning board for the last several months, going through some different comments and different thoughts. So what we've done is, in addition to the work that we're doing immediately adjacent to the Starbucks building to build the Starbucks and the drive-through itself, you'll also notice that there's a number of other areas that are rendered on the site plan where we're doing other traffic improvements to make various improvements throughout the center, because there are some portions of the center where it could benefit from some additional signage, modified curbing to direct traffic in a better and more efficient way in existing conditions. So we're doing things throughout the center in order to enhance existing operations and also prepare for the new store.
It's a little convoluted in that area. When you try, you're not quite sure how to get out. So
The whole,
that's
yeah, I mean,
positive.
I'm not an engineer,
Yeah,
but
it's just
the entire parking lot flows very
It's
strange.
really weird. I'm there all the time.
We spent quite a lot of time independently and also with the board identifying areas where we could modify signage, put additional signage to make the traffic flow more defined and more understandable.
Perfect.
So we believe it will be better.
Good.
One question, because I was actually at the planning board meeting when you were first there, and David Rush asked about the back of the building. Did you guys come up with another plan for the back of the building? Because David had asked the back of the building would have no windows, and it would just be like a big giant wall.
Oh,
So
okay.
So
these-
it'll look nice facing 22.
Right.
But most people will see it from the Acme side, so he felt that side should be better.
yeah.
David always has.
Right,
that.
so
Yeah.
Chris will show his architectural plan. This is a blow-up, a little bit bigger, showing the actual Starbucks area, so we can use that as a reference when Chris is showing his drawing. So just another note, we are significantly reducing the amount of impervious area on the site. As you can see, we're adding a lot more green into the center where it doesn't currently exist, mostly around the drive-through area. But Chris can actually show you the building elevation and the renderings to demonstrate, the various facades. Chris?
So this is the side that's facing Acme.
Good evening, Chris Raffaelli with Studio Architecture. So this is the building. It's unique in that it actually has 4 fronts because of the way it's situated on the property. This one here is the face that faces the shopping center, so that's away from 22. Difficulty about adding glass to that is that's their kitchen. Right? That's the back of house area. So we did add some of their accent lighting to the back. We carried around the materials that are elsewhere on the on the building to match. So it doesn't look like the back so much. The planning board has requested that we add signage to this facade, which we're working through. That sign requires a variance, so so we're still working through what that one's going to be. Likely is just going to be their emblem on the back there instead of the word.
I'm shocked the planning board asked for a sign.
You know, I had to ask them to repeat that because I wasn't quite sure what they actually
When I
said.
saw the back of the building, that was the first thing.
They're
that
gonna
Yeah.
hear about that.
was
Yeah.
the sign.
Yeah, so unfortunately, so right now what we're trying to determine is in the code, which of these faces is actually the front. The code indicates that we can have one sign on the front of the building, which would be, in theory, facing 22.
Right.
We're allowed to have 2 signs when we're kind of the end cap of a building, so maybe that's here too. So anyway, to get 4 signs on this building, we're in for 2, maybe 3 different variances.
So that's the improved back.
Yes.
And where's the planning board at with it now? Just signage and they're good, or?
Yeah, they accepted this. They also had a comment about the ladder on the back, which is a service ladder to get to the roof, but that's been resolved.
It is one story, right?
One story,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, it's the typical Starbucks.
What's your timeline?
To build? Well, it depends on approvals, I guess, right?
In a perfect world?
Yeah.
In a perfect world, hi, Andrew Albrecht with Regency Centers. We would be looking, we're kind of assuming that this process is going to take about another 2 months, probably, and then 30 to 45 days for plan submission, review, permitting. We'd be trying to kick this off, given weather, this year still, if it made sense, or like a May project. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. I misspoke. We would either start it off this year or probably do like a February, March start, if weather is good for us, yeah.
And how long will the build take, do you estimate?
Our initial site work and then the shell that we would provide to Starbucks, we're thinking is probably about 6 months.
Okay, thanks.
And then Starbucks does the inside?
Starbucks would come in. They have a powered dark shell with no interior slab and probably no sheetrock on the interior walls, and they take that and rough all their work in and then finish it.
Okay, cool.
You're not dealing with the DEP, right? Because you're in that plaza already? Just curious, it's,
I don't believe we are, but Rob can.
Sure. We are actually under the thresholds requiring the DEP
Excellent.
review. And as part of SEEKR, they were involved as an interested involved agency, and they've confirmed that they're not involved based on the nature of the improvements.
Yeah. I just like to read something because I was very confused about why you guys needed a special permit. So what Starbucks is doing is they're putting a building in the Lakeview Shopping Center, which is a 23-acre property located at 1505, 1515 Route 22 in Brewster, in the zone SR 22. And the proposed project required the planning board site approval and a special permit for the approval of a fast food eating establishment. Even though there are eating establishments in there, that zone calls for special permits so that all of these steps are taken and it's not just, kind of thrown in there. So that was something I learned yesterday. We have a lot of codes, so I'm trying to figure them all out. But that was my, so I figured I'd just say that for somebody who might be listening that doesn't know why, it's a special permit. But does anybody else have questions? No, that was helpful. We appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.
We're going to set a public hearing, so we'll be moving along.
Great, thank
Okay?
you.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, discussion 3, the local law to amend Chapter 138, Regulation of Battery Energy Storage Systems. So it's a pretty long, explanation here. So what I did is I spoke with Ashley, who is our town planner, and basically what we're doing here is we're trying to not have large utility-side storage fields. Only basically private residents can have a battery backup system in their home. They also have to meet certain requirements to this code. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to basically keep a hold on what comes here battery-wise. Does anyone have anything they'd like to add? Or?
No, I'm thrilled we jumped on this right
Yeah,
away.
me
and
too.
I'm thrilled that the planning board and Ashley turned it around quickly, so I'm good.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Thank you.
this is great.
I am a little nervous about
Ahead of
this letter
I
that you
saw
sent.
that today. Okay, so our next discussion is a bond establishment for the Northline Premise LLC 31 International Boulevard, establishment of improvement, bond erosion, and sediment control bond. Basically, this is a bond to ensure that we're covered if something doesn't go correctly. Right, Will? That's basically
That's
basically where we're at.
good. Explain it.
There is a formula. The planning board takes a look at that first before us. The next discussion is also another bond establishment for 234 Old Nichols Road subdivision performance bond. If I'm correct, there's 2 subdivisions. They want to make it 7? Is that what they're doing, Will?
I think they're re-subdividing existing lots.
Yeah.
And they will end up with a number of new lots, which when they do that, they'll have to pay recreation fees, which are something we sorely need.
Yeah.
And in that, because that's a subdivision and not a site plan, they would have to post a bond for the full amount of the site improvements, and they would not be able to get a CO or a building permit until that bond is posted.
Great, thank you, Will. Okay, so that ends our work session. I'd like to make a motion to open the regular meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So I'd like to make a motion to set the public hearing for Starbucks, 1505 to 1515 Route 22, Brewster, New York, for September 26th, 2024.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And we actually have that date right?
Yes, we
So
do.
we don't have to worry. I'd also like to make a motion to set another public hearing for local law amendment, Chapter 138, regulation of battery energy storage systems for September 26, 2024.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I got a couple of resolutions to read. I have to tell you, I learned a lot this week. This resolution is to declare lead agency and adopt a negative declaration, local law, Chapter 138, rezoning of the Dykeman's Hamlet, Route 312, from R60 to Economic Development, which is ED. Now, therefore, be it resolved that pursuant to 617.6B2 of the State Environmental Quality Review Act, SEQR, the town board of the town of Southeast hereby declares itself lead agency for purposes of SEQR for this unlisted action. And be it further resolved that the town of Southeast town board as lead agency has determined that the proposed action for the reasons set forth in short environmental assessment form dated August 8th, 2024, and the amended SEQR notice of determination of significance, the adoption of the local law to amend Chapter 138 of the Town Code, zoning, to rezone 8 parcels from R160 to ED will not have a significant environmental impact, and a draft environmental impact statement will not be prepared.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Our next resolution is adopting law, local law number 5 of 2024, Chapter 138, zoning, rezoning properties, New York, Route 312, Dykeman's. Now therefore be resolved that the town board of the town of Southeast hereby adopts local law number 5 of 2024 pursuant to the municipal home rule law to amend Chapter 138 zoning, Section 138-6 zoning map of the town code to designate the properties represented by the following tax map designations. Tax map numbers 45.2-10, 45.2-12, 45.2-13, 45-2-14, 45.2-15, 45-15, 45.2-16, 45.2-17, and 45.2-18, which are currently zoned and designated as R160 residential to be included within the ED commercial zoning district. And be it further resolved that the town clerk be and hereby is authorized and directed to enter said local law in the minutes of this meeting and in the code book of the town of Southeast. And B, give due notice to the adoption of said local law by filing such with the Secretary of State of New York within the time required by law. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Our next resolution is, I'd like to make a motion to waive the rule to allow the consideration of two items regarding setting bonds.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So I'm going to read a resolution for a bond establishment for the North Line Premise LLC, -31 International Boulevard, to establish of improvement bond erosion and sediment control bond. Now therefore be it resolved that the bond amount shall be established for the project set forth. North Line Premises LLC, site improvements, $269,000, erosion and sediment control, $4,100. And be it further resolved that a certified copy of this resolution shall be transmitted by the town clerk to the planning board secretary and building inspector forthwith. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Our last resolution is a bond establishment for 234 Old Nichols Road subdivision performance bond. Now therefore be it resolved that the bond amount shall be established for the project set forth below. Project name is 234 Old Nichols Road subdivision. The site improvements are $189,000. Erosion and sediment control are $42,000. And be it further resolved that the certified copy of this resolution shall be transmitted by the town clerk to the planning board secretary and building inspector forthwith. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. So that concludes our meeting. If anyone from the public would like to come up and speak, that'd be great. There's a lot of numbers there. There's a lot of numbers there.
A lot of dashes, a lot of dots.
Dot dashes.
Dot dashes.
Dash.
Sure all those numbers were right?
Yeah, they were.
Scott Seaman, Town of
Hey,
Southeast.
Scott.
Just a quick update from the schools. We're back in session, everything's going well. We're starting the open houses. Just one item I wanted to bring to everyone's attention. Next Thursday, the Board of Ed will be holding 2 work sessions on public forums. The first one on the capital improvements. What's going on, the field, as we've seen, is open. I believe either the women's soccer team or the women's field hockey were the first victory on the new turf, so we have that.
Soccer.
But
I was there.
there you go. So 6 o'clock next Thursday, a public forum on the capital improvements. People to come, ask questions, get information. Any questions, if you don't have, you can send them through email, and it will also be viewable on the website. And then at 7 o'clock, we're having another public forum, this one on security. Once a year, they do an update, and just to keep the community involved in what's going on. So if anybody has any questions or concerns, especially what's been going on recently, please bring them out, let us know what's going on, and they can give you the updates, improvements, things that have been done. Like once the capital improvement is done on the high school, that is the last public entry that will be secured with new double doors, access for the sheriff will have a direct office in front. There's a lot of improvements that have been made, and if there's any concerns in the community, just please comment, and as always, thank the community for their support. And I just have one question, actually it was from last week, I forgot to ask it. There was, I don't know the right word, a deal worked out with the new baseball facility where there were some benefits to the town of Southeast. Is that something that is listed on the website? I forgot to look. Or is it something that can be made available to the public so they can see what these benefits are?
I think it was in the resolution.
It's in the
Yeah,
resolution.
yeah, it is.
Okay, so it's in there?
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep.
Thank you.
Where are those meetings next week at the district office?
It'll be at the district office.
Yeah. Wait, don't go. I love to be able to talk about this kind of stuff, but I witnessed history last Friday on September, what was it, 6th? The boys volleyball team
First volleyball.
played their first game as a sport at Brewster.
Yeah.
And they did great, but they did lose, but they.
Well, it's first. And there's been improvements done over at CV Star Gym and Wells Gym, where now they can also play volleyball in those facilities as well. When they updated the courts, they put in places to put up the new turfs. And actually, I think they said we can do double courts, so we can extend the practice facilities as being a new team. You know, they're going to need more practice.
It was fun to watch. You know, they were very, they're working on it, but they were very excited. They had good spirits. It was kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, my son went to college and played volleyball, and it's something he wasn't able to do in Brewster, but now we do have a boys and a girls team, so it is a great improvement.
All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Does anyone have the board, from the board, have anything? No?
I don't.
No?
I'll make a motion to close the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.